Hi, everybody, and welcome to Renew My Revolution with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. And as always, it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to come and talk with you, chit chat, share some tips and some tools that will assist you to becoming a better you. I want to check in with you today. I want to take the time and come in and see how you're doing. Right now, our world, we're talking about global world, is experiencing a pandemic, right? And so, what I want to share with you is discussing what has your focus. What has your focus right now? Are you focused on stress? Are you focused on fear? Are you focused on anxiety? Are you focusing on depression? Are you focusing on grief? Are you focusing on death? Or are you being creative? Are you being innovative during this time? What has your focus? Because whatever you are focusing on is where you are headed. Come on, somebody. Whatever has your attention right now is where you are headed. So today, I said, look, Michelle, let's go. Come on, let's go ahead and chit chat and talk with the people so that we can find out what they are focusing on. It is my honor and my pleasure to come to talk to you because when I am helping you, I am helping myself. When I'm reaching over to my sister or my brother, I am also helping myself. So as I extend my hand to you and telling you to get up, to rise up, to live and change your focus, make sure that you are on the right track. As I'm encouraging you and empowering you and inspiring you, I am doing the same for myself. So I'm so happy to be able to do this with you today. I hope you are having a good day. And if you're not right now, trust me, by the time you are done with this podcast, you're going to look at life a little different. You're going to feel a little bit better. Not only are you going to feel better, but I am decreeing that you are going to be better. That's what this podcast is all about. It's about making sure that you are put on the right track to become a healthier, a better, a more stronger, improved version of what you are right now. And you can do that no matter where you are in life, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter what you've done in your past. Do you know and do you understand that you can start all over again? That's what this podcast is about. It's about clicking that reset button and starting all over. I might have made a mistake yesterday, but today I'm going to be better. Today I'm going to think better. Today I'm going to be stronger than I was yesterday. Yesterday is over with, and so I do not have to give that my attention. I do not have to focus on what happened yesterday. I can focus on what is happening right now. And right now, I am getting better. Right now, I am getting stronger. Right now, I am improving. So today, we're going to talk about focus. We're going to talk about what has your focus, okay? And in that, we're going to talk about fear conditioning just a little bit. We're going to talk about what's captive, keeping your thoughts captive, okay? We're going to talk about, are your thoughts keeping you captive, or are you captivating your thoughts? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what focus is, okay? We're going to talk about what it means to focus on something. And so when we understand what it means to focus on something, then we know how important that is. So let's share real quick today. Let's get started because I don't want to take up your entire day, but I do want to share some little tips, some little tools. You guys know how I do it, right? Some little tips, some little tools to assist you on today. So let's go. Let's get started. The first thing I want you to know and to reiterate, which I have said before, is that we are not designed in advance to worry, okay? We are not designed to worry, okay? We can be concerned about things, but worrying is not something that we are designed to do. And that's what causes stress, is when we are worried in advance about something that has not even happened yet. That's pretty much how anxiety starts. And what anxiety is about worrying about something that has not even happened yet. So we are not designed for that. Don't get the misunderstanding that, if you are doing this behavior, then it must be that way, and that's the way it just should be, because that's not true and that's not accurate. Okay, you are not designed to sit here and concern yourself and worry yourself about something that has not happened yet. Okay, so that number one, we are not designed to worry. in advance. It is really not healthy to think that you can prevent things from happening all the time. Because if that's true, then I think we all would agree that if there was a way to stop or curb this pandemic, we would have all participated in assuring that this would not have happened to our world, right? So there are certain things that happen, even losing loved ones and health conditions, that no matter what you have done, you can exercise and you can eat properly, but there are certain things that we are pre-exposed to, right? Pre-conditions, health conditions that go down our family line, that we're exposed to, that we can't necessarily see it coming all the time, but it comes, but we cannot control that. It has happened, right? So this is what that means. It's not healthy or smart for us to stress about things that we can't control. Now, we can deal with it as it comes. We can face it. We can be proactive about making sure that we don't allow it to continue if we can. But it is not wise or smart for us to stress about things that we cannot control. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about understanding that in order for us to be completely free, we have to understand that we're not in control. So have that understanding that you're not in control of everything. Some of us are perfectionists, and so hearing that is very difficult to understand that you're not in control of everything, because once things start getting out of your hands, then you start to responding very unhealthy, because you're used to being in charge. You're used to things going a certain way, and then when that does not happen, it kind of does this domino effect for you. Everything just seems to go down after that, because you're used to being in control. But the reality of it is that we're not. The control that I am speaking of is the belief that by your own power and hand, you can make and prevent the things that keep you up at night. Okay. So like I said, certain things just happen. And if you think about this and stress yourself about this, then this is not reality. Okay, this is not reality for you. It's not healthy reality for you, because the reality of it is things will happen. But don't let that discourage you, because I have taught before that what happens to you does not define you. Okay, it just happened. Okay, it's just a moment. It's just a situation. It's just an issue. I call them life moments. They come, but they do not have to define who you are. You are bigger than your issue. You are bigger than your struggle. You are bigger than life's moments. So it's not like we are supposed to just succumb to it, fall apart, and end everything there. No, we are fighters all the way to the end, right? We stand our ground all the way to the end. Okay, so I don't want you to focus on things that you can't control. Okay, I don't want you to stress about things that is beyond your control, because where you can reach, there is someone that can. Come on. Where you can't go, there's someone that can. So even when we're talking about that, let me just hit on the fact that we know in certain places, when loved ones are getting sick, they're not allowed to go where their loved ones are. The communication is often done over the phone or by staff, because their loved ones are suffering from this virus and they're separated, right, from their families. And so people are really stressing because they are used to being by the side of their loved ones. So now they don't know what to do. And so my thing is that you can't physically be there. And so we cannot stress ourselves about something that is beyond our control. But what we can do is make sure that we're sending the one. Come on, I'm talking about God. We're going to send the one who can be there, the one who can watch over our loved ones, the one who can bring them out and cover them and keep them and protect them. Because something that we can't do, we have someone that can do it for us. Okay, because we can't stay up at night and stressing ourselves over what things that we cannot control. This is something that has happened to our whole community, right? And so we cannot change this. We can't make it go away. But what can we do? We can use the resources that we do have. And so what we can do is make sure that, number one, we're taking care of ourselves physically, take care of ourselves emotionally, take care of ourselves spiritually. And for our loved ones who are going through it, we need to make sure that we're covering them, because they are not able sometimes to be able to even pray for themselves. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are covering and protecting and praying for those who can't pray and cover themselves. So we still have a role to play for those who are going through this pandemic. Actually experiencing physical issues from it, who are actually in the hospital, that are placed on ventilators and who are really suffering. Our job is to continue to pray for those that we love and those that we care for, and just overall people that you might not even know. I know personally, when I'm watching what's going on right now, I am literally just, crying out and praying for those that I do not know, because it affects us all. So that's our responsibility, is to make sure that we are being intercessors, which means that I am standing in the gap for my brother or my sister, or someone that I'm seeing that is hurt, or someone that I'm seeing that is in pain, someone who has lost someone. I'm praying, because we have all, if not have been there, you will get there. We all at one time will experience some form of grief and some form of sickness or affliction. So it's important for us to show compassion and make sure that we are covering and praying and supporting one another. That's where your focus should be. Is not to be depressed or sad or just sitting here and surrounding yourself 24/7 with all of the negativity, but take a position of faith during this time, a position of authority during this time, and begin to speak life over this situation, and begin to speak healing over our lands. And I can't say just my land or the land that I'm living in or the country that I'm living in, but I mean the lands. Let's speak over it globally. Let's speak over this condition, this situation, this issue, this pandemic, and let's begin to speak life, okay? Restoration and healing. That's where our focus should be. Our focus cannot be negativity. Our focus cannot be doom and gloom. People will love to say, well, that's just the reality that we're in. We can't ignore that. Well, that's not our reality. That is not, because for every bad story of someone not surviving, there's like 10,000 more, of someone coming through, someone surviving, someone being healed, someone walking out of a hospital and joining their family. So we can't just focus on the negative and not share something positive. We have to make sure that we know that the ending is not death and gloom and dread, but the ending is always going to be hope. Okay, so understand that even during this, there is hope. So let's talk about your focus. What are you focusing on? So we talked about fear conditioning in a prior podcast. Okay, fear conditioning. And so I tried to explain to you all before what fear conditioning was. Fear conditioning is a behavioral paradigm in which organisms learn to predict aversive events. Okay, so what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a pattern of something. It's a pattern of something. So fear conditioning is a behavioral pattern. It's a behavioral pattern of something. So how many times have I taught? Whatever you practice is what you perfect. What are you practicing? What are we practicing right now? As a community, I'm gonna say you are my community. Okay, so what are we practicing as a community right now? Because that is what we are going to perfect. And it's so heartbreaking right now to see some of the practices that we put in place. Because if this continues to happen, then there is sadness, more sadness coming. We have to change this now. We have to make sure that what we are putting to practice is going to be hope. What we are putting into practice is exercising our authority, exercising good behavior, exercising positive thinking, exercising not just the thinking, but the actions to follow. Come on, responsibility. These are things that we need to be put into practice, not anger, frustration, madness, bitterness, being stressed out, feeling hopeless. I've already shared before in previous podcasts, and I'm going to share it again about the dangers of people who have no hope. That's a grave way of thinking. Hear me. I ain't say grave. I said grave. Grave. That's a grave way of thinking. Somebody need to put that up on your wall. Somebody need to write that down. Somebody need to print that out. A life of hopelessness is a grave way of thinking. Okay? Because when a person does not have hope, then they have given up on everything. When you don't have hope, you're not thinking no more about tomorrow or the day after. You don't care anymore about people around you when you don't have hope. So hear me again. Let me repeat that because I want you to put that in your mind. A life of hopelessness is what? A grave way of thinking. Grave. Grave. Let it go. Let it go. Come on. Let this be the day that you let go of that type of thinking. That type of repeated pattern in your thought process of hopelessness, of what's the point. Right now, I am a parent of 3. My 2 younger children are 18 and 14. I'm dealing with somebody who was supposed to be graduating from senior year of high school and someone who was supposed to be graduating from 8th grade. So they have been impacted in a way by this global pandemic that is mind-blowing, right? Because they had all these plans that are now been shut down. And now they don't even know what happens after this. My youngest one, who was so excited about starting high school, does not even know, will she physically be able to go to high school? Would that life change? All of her siblings who had all these experiences and opportunities of dances and proms and one-on-one with classmates and creating these bonds and friendships that last for a lifetime. She doesn't even know if she will have the same. She's questioning that. So as a parent, my responsibility is to come and to assure her, not doom and gloom, not your life is over, but I assure her that whatever comes from this, whatever happens from this, you will be okay. Even if we have to conform ourselves to a new norm, you will be okay. Even if we have to adjust to a different way of life, you will be, because I'm teaching her young, I'm teaching her right now, you will be okay. You are stronger than this. You are greater than this, and you were created to handle this. Come on. I'm teaching them now that whatever has come during this time in your life, yeah, I do show sympathy and empathy to them both because I understand, because I was able to experience the things that they now have had snatched from them. So I am show empathy, and I empathize with them. But what I do not want them to do is allow this moment in life to shape the rest of their life into something that is ugly, something that will later on become an open sore for them, something that would cause a bruise and a bump in their life, that for the rest of their lives, they'll be saying, oh my God, I wish I could have, I wish this never happened. Oh my God, just constantly dreading over what happened during this particular time of their life. I don't want that to happen to them. So my job now is to remind them that whatever has come this way, you were created to handle this. This is not these moments are moments in where fear conditioning starts for my family and for your family and for our friends. These moments are the moments in where people start to focus on the wrong things. And that's how people get drawn into becoming depressed and sad and anxiety and depression and just overwhelmed and begin to struggle with mental health. Okay? Such environments as this, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. This is the perfect storm. This is the perfect ingredients for a perfect storm. These times are the perfect ingredients for a perfect storm. And so we need to make sure that we are not feeding this storm. Come on, you all, this is good. Make sure that you're not feeding this storm. Come on. We need to make sure that we're shifting our focus. How do you get from a storm? How if you're in the middle of a storm, do you keep going and allowing yourself to keep feeding into it, or do you shift yourself to change your direction, change your movement, move to the side, move to the left, move to the right, go and shift, because you don't want to get in the middle of the storm. You don't want to be in the eye of this storm. I don't want to keep feeding this storm. I want to go right on through the storm. I got to pick up my pace. Come on. Whatever I got to do, if it's a shift to the left, shift to the right, or plunge right through it and to get through it, I'm going to do that. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to sit in the middle of the storm and keep talking about this storm. What we're not going to do is be in the middle of the storm and allow the storm to consume us, because there's more beyond the storm. Come on, somebody. There is more beyond this storm. This is a moment. This is the storm. But there is more beyond this. There is life after this. There is hope after this, okay? There is glory after this, okay? There is more to this. And if we can just push through, come on, if we can just push through, if we can persevere through this storm, then guess what? We're going to come out better, greater, stronger than we were ever before. Because we're going to take all of our lessons that we learned about ourselves. We're gonna learn the capabilities that we really have. We're gonna learn what we are really made of, and we're gonna allow that to take us to the next place in our lives. That's what we do. During our storms, we don't allow them to consume us. We do not allow them to take us out. We do not allow them to break us. No. We do not allow that, because we have learned to take authority. We have learned to stand our ground. We have learned to speak over the atmosphere. We have learned to speak authority with authority over a situation. We have learned to get that second wind when we feel tired and exhausted and overwhelmed. We've learned to click that reset button and say, hold on a minute, let me take a step back and see what's going on so I can refocus. We've learned to take the proper measures to make sure that when these moments come, we can survive. When these moments come, we can last. When these moments come, we will not be succumbed by them, but we will overcome them. Come on, somebody. This is good today. This is good. I've come to encourage you. I've come to encourage you because I want to constantly remind you of what you are made of, constantly remind you what you were created to do, and that was to conquer, to be triumphant. You are what fearfully and wonderfully made. I love to emphasize that to you because I think sometimes when you go through things, you forget that. I think sometimes when life keeps hitting at you, you forget how beautiful you are and how creative you are and how strong you are and how you are not a mistake and you're not here by mistake. Sometimes I think we forget that because when we keep getting pushed and when we keep getting bruised and when we keep going through struggle after struggle after struggle, we allow fear conditioning to take place. We allow anxiety to take over. We allow depression to step in. We allow overthinking and feeling overwhelmed to take over. And so I'm here to remind you to shift your focus. I'm here to remind you that all those things that are happening around you and to you and behind you and on the sides of you don't define you. Now, although it seems as if it's bigger than you, it looks like it's a giant and you feel like an ant. I come to encourage you. It's just a viewpoint. Come on. It's just a perspective. I need you to look at it a different way. I need you to change your perspective. I need you to shift your focus. Come on. I welcome all you all today, those who have decided to listen for the first time to this podcast. I come to welcome you. I come to welcome you and say thank you for joining in. Thank you for taking the time to listen on today. Thank you. Thank you so very much, because I know that you could have done anything today, but today you decided I'm going to check in. I'm going to see what she's talking about. And I hope that it is helping you. I hope that you're getting something out of it, because I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be reminded of who you are. I want you to be reminded of how strong you are. I want you to be reminded that you were designed by a very gifted creator to handle every situation that comes your way. It does not come to break you and to destroy you. It comes to build you. Sometimes we don't reach our full potential because we do not allow the change to happen. We avoid things that is going to cause us to change. We run from them. We hide from them because they're not comfortable for us. Okay? They're not comfortable for us. So a lot of times we avoid situations and we avoid environments and we avoid conflicts because we don't want to see or feel the change. Change is very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. I remember listening to a message before called "The Eagle Stirs the Nest," which means that when the eagle prepares for the eaglet to learn to fly and they want them to get out of the nest, they begin to make the nest uncomfortable. They begin to make the fitting in the nest itself uncomfortable. So change and growth is uncomfortable, but it is for your good. It is for my good that we accept change. It is for my good and it's for your good that we accept change, move with the change so that we can become a better person. Wherever you are in your life right now, whatever you are dealing with in your life right now, understand that you can make this. You can make this. You can make it. You can survive this. No matter what it is, you can do this. You can do this with integrity. You can do this with strength. You could come out of this unsinged, meaning that whatever you are going through, you don't have to even look like you've been through it. Okay? Untouched, unfazed. But you come out of it with the experience that you need. You come out of it with the tools and the skill set that you need to help someone else and for you to go to the next level. So you don't have to come out of it. You know, I've seen people, you know, that life has been very hard and they have approached life very hard. And you can look at them and you can see life moments just all over them. Like they look aged. They look older than what they are. You don't have to look like that. You don't have to. Okay? We can go through the moments of life and we can overcome the moments and not allow the moments to overcome us. We can take the challenge and we can master the challenge, perfect the challenge so that we can go to the next challenge, because there will always be something else. Even after this, not that we will ever forget this that we're going through as a community with this pandemic. We would never forget this. But even after this, there is something else that will come and challenge us, challenge you, challenge me. And we have to learn to master everything that comes our way, because we're designed to do that. We're designed to just learn and grow and perfect. Learn, grow, perfect. We're not perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're going to learn, we're going to grow, we're going to perfect, and we're going to move on. We're going to move on. That's what life is about. It took me a long time to understand that concept. It took me a long time to get to that point of understanding, because prior to where I am now in my life, things had to be a certain way. And when things didn't go that particular way, I had no idea how to function. And it could be little things, it could be big things. It just did not matter. I had a way of life in my head. And when that way of life failed to happen over and over and over again, I just did not understand what was going on. And so when I learned that life will always present challenges, and life will always change, and life will always evolve, I had to learn to evolve, change. I had to learn to learn, and I had to learn to be able to take authority of it. I had to do what? Take this challenge, master this challenge, perfect this challenge. That's what I had to do, right? So that's why I'm able to tell you that everything that comes is not, easy. I'm not saying that any of the things that I'm telling you are easy. And I, by no means am I belittling it or minimizing your struggle or your life's moments, is what I like to call it. But what I am doing is telling you there is hope. And what I am telling you that it is absolutely possible for you to come out of this. It's absolutely possible for you to grow from this. It's absolutely possible for you to come through this, to push through this perfect storm, to push through this moment, to push through this pandemic, to push through this struggle, to push through this life moment. And guess what? Not only can you push through it, but you will come out stronger, better, greater than before. That's what I'm saying. And I can say that with confidence. And once again, how can you say that with confidence? Because I've been there and I know what it's like. I get it. And I only like to share things that I have experienced personally. Why? We talk about this a lot because I know it comes across more easier and more realistic, right? When someone tells you, I've been there, I get it, I know. And then when they begin to talk and you hear the relation, you hear, yes, that's what I'm going through. Yes, I've been there. Yes, that's what I'm dealing with now. Then you're able to receive that, right? That's why our testimonies and sharing what we go through is important, because someone needs to hear that you're not alone, that you're not the only one, that someone else is going through that or has been through that, and they have survived it. And if they can do it, so can you. So that's why it's so important for us to keep sharing, keep talking, keep sharing with one another, so that the next person will not have to go through what you've gone through or what I've gone through, because we've already prepared them how to handle it. We've already prepared them, even if they don't get it now, right now they might say, I have no idea. I have not had any of those experiences. When it come about, they will go back and say, oh my God, I remember this story that I heard, or I remember this teaching that I heard, or I remember this someone shared this information before with me. Because that's how things has happened with me in the past. I've prepared, even written books about things that had not really yet happened. But I was just researching and getting everything that I need. And then all of a sudden I found myself in the middle of exactly what I was preparing to write about. Exactly what I was preparing to share with someone, okay, or with individuals, okay? So that's how it happens. Don't think that because right now you're not dealing with it, or you're not, you have not seen it come to pass in your life. Don't think that it won't, because there is a moment in time that you will be able to go back and reach this information and say, oh my God, I remember hearing about this. I remember hearing about that. and then this will be here for you. This tool will be here for you. This information will be here for you. So I'm so glad that I have been able to share this information with you today. I mean, I'm so glad we did not stay very long. That was not my intentions to stay long, but I did want to talk to you today about certain things. I want to talk to you about your focus. I want to make sure that you were staying focused on the good things and the right things, okay? We need to be aware, but we do not need to be afraid. We need to be aware, but we do not need to fear. And right now, we are experiencing so much fear. And I want to make sure that that's not happening to you. I want to make sure that that's not happening to me. So that's why I'm here today, just to make sure that you are staying on point and that you're not allowing the conditions of what's going on right now to affect you. If you sit here and you focus on what's going on globally 24/7, unless that's your job or your career, if you're doing that, then you are going to get what you're putting in. The ingredients that you're putting in is for a perfect storm. A perfect storm. Because what? These are the ingredients for a perfect storm. So we don't want to do that. We do not want to make sure, we want to make sure that we're not feeding ourselves just the wrong ingredients. We want to make sure that our focus is correct. I always talk about, even before all this happened, making sure that you are being creative, making sure that you are taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. It is important, especially now. People are very much focused on the physical, but they are neglecting their emotional and their mental health. So you have to make sure that you're taking care of all of it, because it all affects you, especially now. So today we talked about focus. We talked about making sure that you are taking captive your thoughts, right? Taking them into captivity. Why? Because we don't want our thoughts to take us into captivity. In other words, I don't want to allow my wrong thinking to put me in a place where I'm paralyzed, that I cannot function, that I cannot do the things I'm called to do, that I cannot pursue my passions, I cannot pursue my goals, because I am just stuck in a place that I was designed to conquer and push through. So I talked to you today, and I reiterated to you about making sure that you are pushing through, that you are persevering, and you're not allowing your thoughts to hold you captive. We talked about focus, and we talked about the repeated patterns that we have in our lives causes what? It causes fear conditioning. So we are exposed to something over and over again, multiple times in a negative way, it resulted in a negative result, right? Then that will and can cause fear conditioning, which perfect example would be something that you have been doing a lot of times. Say that we talked about this in an example before in a previous podcast. If you experience like a bad accident, car accident or something, and you experience really horrible injuries from that, and you can repeat that over again to the fact that you don't even want to get in a car again. You don't want to drive a car, ride in a car. These are real conditions that happen based upon a pattern of events. So we need to make sure that we are making ourselves aware of these type of events, these type of issues that are happening with us, because it can happen really quick. You might not even know that it's happening to you, but it can't happen. It can. So we want to be aware of that so that we can make sure that we don't allow that to snatch away the quality of our lives. Look, I am so grateful to be able to spend this little time with you today. Like I stated, I was not going to, stay with you long today, but I definitely wanted to share some tips and tools with you this week. Check in with you, see how you are doing. And I hope you guys are doing great. Look, I have listed some information, and I will, to those who are listening, share this information with you. You can look for the books that I am the author of: Faith versus Fear, Breaking Family Ties. I also have a book called The Crowd, The Crowd. That's a good book. These books are really, really informative and very, very good for what we're dealing with right now globally. Take my word for it. Give it a try. Go over to Amazon.com and get the books. Check them out. You can get them on Kindle. They're actually in different languages as well. I believe the Breaking Family Ties book is available in Spanish. And so I want you to go ahead and check that out. Also, my books are available on Barnes and Noble. So go and check it out there too. That is Breaking Family Ties and Faith versus Fear over there at Barnes & Noble. On Amazon, all the books are listed, all of them. Check them out. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment if you have found this to be informative and helpful. And if you have questions, I will try my very best to get back with you. You can follow me on my different social platforms. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter. I will love, and I mean love, to connect with you. Look, this has been great as always, and I am so happy to be able to come in your home today and share with you some tips and tools that I know that it will assist you to becoming a better you. This has been my pleasure. This has been an honor for me. Once again, this is Michelle Cook, and you were listening to Renewed Mind Revolution. God bless you guys, and know that I love you. But most importantly, guess what? God loves you more.